Maybe. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday live stream. I'm joined as ever by Jerry V. Hall from Costa Rica. Jerry, what's up today?
Pura vida, Rob. Life is getting exciting.
Yeah, it's getting exciting. There's a lot of things going on in the world. Hopefully we can kind of tune some of the bad stuff out, just kind of focus on our sphere of control, what we can actually manage and what we can actually do. So everybody, I just want you to relax today. Just be, it's going to be okay. And we're going to talk about some things that we can control. And one of those things that we can control is, well, first of all, I need to make a clarification. So a couple of days, man, 4 days ago, time's flying. 4 days ago, we did a video and we talked about how to double your Bitcoin DCA returns. And really what it came down to was just talking about dynamic DCAing and what is the best day to buy if you're going to DCA. And if you're going to DCA Bitcoin, we take a look at Ben's website and it has there the best day. It's Monday, because Monday is when everything, it's like everything collapses on the weekend and then there's like a little bit of a rebound on Monday. So before that big rebound, that's the time to buy, is early in the morning. So when we took a look at that, and then we took a look at daily DCAing, regular, or dynamic DCAing daily, dynamically, or DCAing by once a week, or dynamically DCAing once a week. And I actually went through the whole thing, and it was dynamically DCAing once a week. So instead of like you know how I say, hey, I'm buying every day. I'm short-term bearish, but I buy every single day. After that video, I'm like, shoot, I got to start buying once a week, because you could just see, like, I mean, historically speaking, it goes up. I've been saying the last 3 days the same thing that's kind of in my muscle memory, which is, hey, I'm buying every single day. And even though I'm short-term bearish, and somebody remind me, I forgot the name. They're like, Rob, aren't you buying every week now? I'm like, damn it, that's right. So yeah, a little correction there. I'm buying every Monday morning on the Cash App, because I can't figure out how to set it for buy it on Monday every week. I got to wait till Monday, put in my order. So all the money that I would have spent, let's say I was going to do like $100 a day, right? So instead of doing $100 every day, I just do $700 on Monday. If that's what I'm, some people that's like a pittance, and some people that's a lot, just depends. And that's not what I'm actually spending, but that is a little housekeeping thing. So the sphere of control, Jerry, what we can talk, what we can deal with. What do you think about that?
I like it. I've always enjoyed your content around DCA and the dynamic DCA elements. And I tell you, I think I'm somewhere, me personally, my personal behavior is in that I'm kind of a little in both camps, right? I have never been a buy every day guy, but I am buy on a schedule guy, right? And I love the idea of understanding patterns in the market that I can take advantage of. And if in fact I can take my monthly buy and distribute it over 4 Mondays, boy, if I can squeak out another 2 or 3% gain for the same amount of dollars spent, then that's an advantageous thing for me to do. And I owe you a thank you and a gratitude for you figuring that out, or using tools that figured that out, because I would not have figured that out on my own.
Yeah, you know what? Like, it was something that I wasn't on my radar. Somebody asked a question in the comment section. I go, because they asked, you know, what's the best day to buy? And I was like, well, I should probably talk about that. And it really came down to just using Ben's website into the CRYPTOVERSE, as we can see here. But we just went through the whole process. So anyhow, the long story short, yes, every once a week now on a Monday, and it seems to work out pretty well like that. Anyhow, let's talk about today and what is going on with CZ and the banana supercycle. First of all, I don't believe in supercycle. I'm just gonna put it out there. I don't believe in it. I hope it happens though. Damn, I hope it happens. I hope we all go to Valhalla with our big bags packed and we can unload and everything will be happy, right? I just don't think it's going to happen. However, CZ believe it's going to happen. And that's why I put that ridiculous thumbnail, the banana zone supercycle, which is kind of like Raoul Powell and the supercycle people of old. I've been hearing supercycles since I got in 2017. But there was this post I thought was interesting, is that, you know, one good thing is that we're not as volatile as we used to be. This is from Garrett Jenkins. He says a lot to be gleaned from the averages for tech stocks versus Bitcoin. In 2025, Bitcoin had a 40% average 30-day volatility compared to Tesla at 70. That's weird. 73% is high. NVIDIA 55, Meta 39, Amazon 39, Apple 34. You know, the Mag 7 stuff like that. So I was thinking about this. I'm like, that's actually bodes pretty well for us if we're going to be not so irregular or unstable. Jerry, do you like to see this stability, or this might be a hindrance?
Actually, it's great information if I was in markets where volatility can impact returns, right? So if I was trading options, if I was going to, well, I guess let's just stick with that. If I was in the options market through my Schwab account or my Fidelity account, these would be the stocks that I would be looking to take advantage of so that I could collect a lot of premium. The higher the volatility, the greater the premium. The greater the premium, obviously, the greater return.
That's true. I never thought of it that way. That's a good one. Yeah. Jerry, this is why I have you on the show. Very nice.
You know, one of these days, you and I ought to start tinkering in that realm, because there is I mean, obviously, it's a D.A.N kind of thing, and so maybe we do that on the D.A.N channel. But there's some real validity. I know a lot of people that have done very, very well understanding the options game, and volatility is king in that world.
Yeah, my friend. How about this, everybody? If you want to learn about options a little bit, put that in the comment section below if that would be something you'd like to check out. If it is, me and Jerry will do it over on the D.A.N channel. I got a friend of mine, Steven. He pretty much went out of the entire crypto market, went trad, and just did options, and he's crushing it. And I got to tell you, it might be something to do, but that's for a whole other channel, a whole other section. You guys will tell us if you want to do that.
I brought it up.
No, it's good. It's good. But let's get to the meat and potatoes, which is super banana zone, super cycle, blah, blah, blah. It could happen because I'm not right all the time. I'm wrong a lot. So I hope I'm wrong here. So this was from CoinDesk. And this was from Davos, different interviews on Davos and CNBC. CZ says Bitcoin will break the 4-year cycle this year and have a massive breakout. Here's what we got. If you are looking, hold on, let me just pause this one. If you're looking at, and this is directly from CZ talking, and I wanted to highlight this point because I think it's important. It's something to remember. If you're looking at today, tomorrow on a daily basis, there's no way I can predict what's going to happen for Bitcoin in the crypto market. But if you look at the 5-10-year horizon, it's very easy to predict. We're going to go up. And that's pretty easy because, let's be honest, the government's going to debase the dollar, so everything will get more expensive. The question is, which asset will appreciate faster? Is it going to be gold, silver, Bitcoin? Is it going to be properties, real estate, land? And that's up for you to decide. I diversify as much as I possibly can, but I see his point there. It makes sense. CNB host asked CZ if he agreed with ARK Invest Kathy Woods, who last week forecasted Bitcoin's price between 300,000 and 1.5 million by 2030. I laugh, but I shouldn't, because people used to laugh when they would say that Bitcoin could reach $1,000, and those people aren't laughing anymore. Anyhow, Jerry, before I go on, what do you think about this Kathy Woods range-bound prediction? I actually like it. I like those types of things.
I'm hoping for it. I think one of the most important things for me to keep kind of like centered in my mind is that of all of these investable entities, Bitcoin is truly the only finite supply asset I can invest in, right? Gold, the minute the price goes up, the incentives for every gold miner to go get more of it is increased. The minute an area of geography gets hot, a city, a part of the world, real estate prices go up. Every developer in the world is incentivized to either build higher, or something. So commodities, go get more of them. Real estate, increase the square footage per, land mass. And then you got the stock market. All of these companies, these valuable Mag 7s, the minute that they are able, in the marketplace to issue more of their share to generate more money, they do so diluting every other common stock shareholder. And we just accept it. Bitcoin does not have that. There is no rehypothecated Bitcoin. There is no we'll make more to serve the market when it's in higher demand than other times. So I think that we still haven't really seen what it looks like when the world wants this. Right now, it's still been that same kind of, 350 to 500 million people on a planet of 8 billion. Let's see what happens when 4 billion people are going after this thing.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on what you said, as you get a sector that gets hot, and then like gold and silver are hot right now. And of course, when you start hearing about that happening, and then they start to say, well, we need to mine more, we need to do more. Same thing with real estate. They find a great area, a section of land they want to develop and build on it. Then people start to do the same thing and go towards it. They want to jump on that roller coaster as it's right about to go up. That's what everybody wants to do. And that to me is essentially the crypto market as well. This is the problem with us right now. It all comes down to momentum and how we're seeing that the market's actually moving. Is it speculation? Obviously. So it's momentum and speculation. We lost the momentum after October 10th. And of course, because of that, people aren't speculating like, you know what, we're going to go someplace else. So I think what you said, we just have to find that layout, but hopefully we will. So to continue on with this one, CZ says, after the Kathy Woods piece, I have very strong feelings that there will probably be a super cycle this year. He's not the only one. I've heard a lot of people say this. It's a lot of hope out there. Raoul Powell being, I think, one of the big cheerleaders for Banana Zone time. So we'll see. He states, well, I mean, I laugh, but it could happen. Well, normally Bitcoin follows 4-year cycles, but I think this year, given the US being so pro-crypto and every other country is kind of following, that's debatable. I think the EU is doing the exact opposite in certain sectors. I do think we'll see this. We'll probably break the 4-year cycle, and we'll see all-time highs, he's saying, this year in 2026. And to finish up, I also spend quite a lot of time talking with about a dozen governments about how to regulate crypto, how to regulate tokenization, how to do stable coins. And then in Davos, he stated that he was in talks with dozens of countries about tokenizing their assets, although he didn't mention specifics. And he just talks about how the world is becoming more pro-crypto. So that's the argument by CZ. Basically say because things are moving in the pro-crypto direction, that's why we're going to have a super cycle in these nation states talking about how they're going to use it. And that's one of the big reasons for 2026. Jerry, is there anything that would really lead you to believe that this will be a real super cycle? Forget about how everybody says it is going to happen in 2017 and then 2018 and then 2021 and then 2024, 2020. Forget about all those years. Why is a super cycle going to happen?
It's the expansion of credit. Plain and simple, there is so much debt, Rob, that needs to be rolled over. Right? You have two options. You either roll over your financing, in other words, get a larger loan that can compensate for the debt that you have and give you a little extra and be able to pay for it, or you have to sell off, right? Or go default. Most of the world does not want to default, right? So they're going to do everything they can to stay in the game. And so you've already seen it. Japan has already started to restructure their bond market, their debt market. Yeah. We're seeing it here in the United States. Debt markets are what fuel liquidity cycles. The liquidity cycles fuel super cycles. There is no super cycle without an infusion of new money. And that new money comes from the creation of debt.
There's something to be said for that. I will say, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. So people don't want to default. They got to find some way to make money. They got to find a way to inject liquidity because they're about to lose. So what could they do? Well, they could do a lot of things. One of the things they could do is they could get into assets, right? Another asset that isn't a bond. Like we just saw that Japan 10-year treasuries, it looks like they went from pretty much nothing, and now they're like 2.2%. There's a term called repatriarch, where essentially they're trying to bring those funds back home to Japan. The thing that I wonder, repatriate. The one thing that I worry about, and I think about, is this: if people are like, I need a super cycle, I need to increase revenue, I need to increase my liquidity. What if they just said, you know what, hands in the air, gold and silver, that's it? And the way I'm thinking about this, I know this is a very popular opinion, but if we take a look at the market cap, how it's increased from 2024 to today, that grayish, kind of goldish, that's the market cap of gold. And the greenish is the market cap of said Bitcoin. And you can see we went from a market cap of, this is in billions, yeah, $12 trillion for gold in 2023 to now roughly, and this is December, 30 trillion. So what is that? That's what, 2.5x?
Yeah.
Not bad. However, if we take a look here at Bitcoin, about 400 billion. That's where we were at in 2022. And from here to here, 1.8 trillion. So 400 times 4? Actually, if you think about it, I think we did a 4x. 400. So not bad. Although, I mean, the way I'm looking at this right now is like people like, I need a lot of liquidity, and they went into gold. Maybe at some point they'll come back to Bitcoin. It's anybody's guess. I just wanted to throw that out there. What's your thoughts, Jerry?
Well, there are two primary narratives that I'm watching in the precious metal space. There is the utility of the element. Silver can be explained because its utility is evident. You need it in a lot of these technical elements, the creation of chips. Solar panels require some silver. I mean, silver is needed. It's not as needed as copper, but it is very much needed in an industrial supply chain. Gold, I think its story has been as old as time. It has always been a way to preserve value against inflation. Always, right? It's always been. It's since the minute credit was established, gold was always that thing that could tether you to real money, right? And I don't think that story changed. And so when nation states who were not ready to take the full bite out of the Bitcoin apple, they turned to what has been traditionally that thing, and it was gold. And I think it's just that. I don't think it's more complicated than that, right? The world has acknowledged, by the expansion of the gold market and the price of gold per ounce, the world has declared inflation is here to stay. To me, that's what it signals. It's like the whole world is saying, hey, this is banana zone, and we need something to secure ourselves against it.
And yeah, you're right. I think that's a pretty good segue into the Q&A, because I'm guessing people got a lot of questions about that. I'm glad you're here, Jerry, because I mean, if you think about it, maybe people are finally figuring out, like, hey, we have runaway prices. It's kind of ridiculous. Inflation is going. I mean, it always goes up. That's just it. And people say inflation is going down. It's never going down. It's just slowing down the pace. So, like, when we see these things and people say, oh, well, inflation isn't 3%. That's great. It's only 2.2, 2.3, where we're at right now. That's true, but we're still going up. And as people are getting into that, maybe they're just thinking to themselves, I need to hedge. Right now, gold and silver is hot. People are going to get into that. And, good, God bless you. Good for you. But I think at some point, just like you said about what is scarce and what is finite, what it gets debased, gold and silver, they are not finite. They are scarce for sure. And we have to always take it into that thought process. But as far as like finite, I think at some point people are going to really start to get it, but shoot, it could be 2030 before people already figure it out. And that's where the whole time comes in. Anyhow, as a long drawn out last segue, just to say, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate you. That's it for today. We'll do a little Q&A, and then anybody wants to throw out their portfolio like Sleepy Hollow, we'll talk about it. Look at this one, Jerry. And if you got questions for Jerry, let me just throw them in there now. Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, ADA. I think you've talked about that once or twice on the channel. Chainlink, SUI. I say SUI.
I love it.
Aave Tau, which is a good AI play. Although it's kind of, a lot of these things have underperformed. Ondo, which I thought would take off like a rocket. Ondo this week was responsible for, well, first of all, I think it's BlackRock based, or BlackRock pronounces it. And they were doing tokenization of assets. I just didn't see it really take off. Arrow, any of those you like? I mean, besides,
I like
I'm going to
them
say,
all. I'll be honest, I don't know anything about Ondo or Arrow, but I can tell you that having layer one protocols in your portfolio, somebody's going to build an app that requires that layer one, and that layer one's going to, be used by a billion people, and it changes everything, right? Not just from the standpoint of the usuries, but those people that are staking it, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's so risky though right now. I mean, and then like JP says it, Alter Cook, which he's right, and these are the things that like normal people wouldn't want to talk about anymore, altcoins. But I'm getting to the point where I'm thinking to myself, should we be talking about other alts? Because I mean, on this channel we've focused pretty heavily on Bitcoin and the best tokens, Binance, Ethereum, Solana, Tron, and we had a whole thing about stable coins, but I'll cover it tomorrow. And but maybe this is the counterintuitive, and start to think and look at these different alts at this point. Maybe not. Maybe I'm going a little bit too over my skis for that one. Let's see. I can't say that. It's funny. Majority of the top 100 coins are stables or new products within the past 2 to 4 years. Yeah, majority. Let me take a look. And first of all, I think we're in like a downward trend today, as a matter of fact. Yeah, look at that. 86,000. What happened to 90,000? Not surprising. This is good for me. I'm like I said, like I'm dollar cost averaging every Monday. So keep going down. Everybody keep selling. You're doing a great job. Let's see what else we got. XRP, Solana, I see, I've heard of all these. Canton's a pretty new one. It's up 53% in 30 days. Jerry, one of your favorites, World Liberty Financial? Okay. RAIN, I think this is the predictive market decentralized version. So I think they're just capitalizing on a narrative. Good for them. Meme Core, I don't know what the heck that is. Man. Falcon, I'm going to guess, is a stable coin. Pepe is still in the top 100. Amazing. A lot of stables. Global Dollar, Circle. Here's Ondo. That's done horrible. I've never heard of Sky. Pump.fun is still in the top 100. Damn, some of these I can't believe are still in the top 100. That's amazing. Okay, what else we got? Hopi Copium. That's a pretty good handle. CZ's supercycle to use you as the exit, don't you see? How long is this guy going to use us for exit liquidity? He's been around for quite some time. I don't know. Jerry, what do you think? Is it just CZ just saying that this is a super cycle because his whole business is surrounded about that, or is he spot on?
I think CZ's an optimist, and I think I'm an optimist also. But I can tell you one of the things that I've kind of come to the realization the amount of optimism I had around all of these incredible products and projects and services that were coming out of the crypto world, we're finding that the primary use case for digital assets today is Bitcoin as a store of value and several layer ones producing stable coins. And until the real world asset market starts to really pick up pace, in other words, when your actual Airbnbs are tokenized, when my Uber car, the Tesla robo car that I'm going to buy, when that's tokenized, then we will have reached that goal. But I think we're 10, 15 years away from that stuff, you know, where it's ubiquitous. I think small sections may get footholds. And I think a lot of us holding large bags of alts are going to be holding large bags of alts for a long time before they become
usable.
Well, before we're retiring on them.
Yeah, probably true. And you know what? Speaking of which, I'll be going to this. There's a tokenization event here in Puerto Rico, and and I'm pretty excited about it. It's real estate, land, and vehicles, and a whole bunch of things. So I want to go there and see what the leaders in the industry are talking about. This, and I'll cover it. I think it starts on Friday. I think it concludes on Sunday. So next Sunday show, I'll be able to tell people what's going on. Hey, here's a good question. I like this one. This is a good one. Doc Flyer says, why would someone who has already won with gold big time last year and at the beginning of this year switch to Bitcoin? Which is a great question. This is what my dad said to me. How would you respond? I would say, Dad, you're absolutely right. That's a good question. Because think about it. If you're into gold, you probably just didn't get into gold last year. You probably have been getting into gold for a very long time. And you've been sitting and waiting and holding. And everybody was telling you, you know what? The future is this thing. The future is that thing. Bitcoin and everything else. And then, of course, it goes up. You're like, I told you. I told you. And at this point, all the gold bugs and silver bugs, they're probably not going to listen to us. That's pretty much how it is. However, remember a time back in 2021 when everything was going up like crazy and people were like, it's going to go to 1 million and it's just going to keep going up. It's going to go up forever. And everybody thought that was what it was going to be. And I took some of those profits, should have done more, and put it into real estate. Because to me, I always felt like, I think the same thing. Real estate is a great hedge. I don't know what the hell is going to happen with Bitcoin. I don't know what's going to happen with gold or silver, whatever else. But I know that as long as people need a place to live, they don't want to be on the streets, this is probably going to be pretty good. And especially for like short-term and even long-term rental. If the short-term rental doesn't work out, long-term rental can do. So I told my dad this, if he was still around. Dad, you should probably stick with gold and silver for as long as you possibly can. However, we don't know what's going to happen. You could leave in there, but maybe you want to diversify just a little bit. Maybe take like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5%, put it into Bitcoin. Maybe take 2 or 3%, put it into real estate, put it into land or something like that. We just never know. And if you want to protect yourself, you did a great job. Maybe you want to come over here. And if you can talk, and first of all, I don't say that to people anymore. I'm getting kind of tired of trying to convince people because it's just a big pain in the A some days. Because then I got to explain to them about how long it's going to take and everything else. I do my best, but I would just say that and then just say, look, diversification, I think, is probably the best option at this point. Jerry, what's your thought?
Well, I mean, you know, I think everybody's different. So I can only speak for me being an old person. The older I get, the more conservative I become, and diversification becomes more attractive, right? I did things halfway right? When we had the big run up in 2021 and my portfolio was just absolutely just exploding, I took some out and I bought my dream property. And I'm really glad that I did, because now I own this beautiful property. I own my own waterfall. I mean, it really is paradise. I didn't take enough to build a house yet, though. That was the thing. I just thought it would just keep going and going, and I would wait. I'll just wait a little while. And then we just all watched how we just got all our liquidity sucked out of our portfolios in 2022. And so, you know, I think everybody needs to take a look at, always be measuring what your investment goals are and are they in line with your life goals, right? And have those two married. Because I will tell you from experience, I had investment goals that were not in line with my life goals. And when the market changed, it was like, oh man, what a drag. I'd still have probably all the same amount of crypto I have right now, but I'd be living in a home that I built, and I didn't do that because they were not, my life goals and my investment goals were not in line.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's just it. And this is why, like, nobody can give financial advice on any kind of social media platform, because nobody knows everybody's goals and where they're at in their life. So like for like some people, like, I'm never selling. I'm never taking profits. I'm going to let it go. And I'm a young guy or a young gal at 20, 21, 22, 23. So why the hell would I sell? Cool. And then you got other people who are like, hey, I'm like 80 years old. I need to sell everything because I like to live the last 10 years of my life with doing some fun stuff instead of working my tail off. Sure. It all depends. And then Darth Flyer says, oh no, that was the one. Mullet says, did you bite for the win? Mullet's always got good stuff.
Mullet.
Holger says, Rob, the gold bugs were right once in 10 years. As far as like appreciation, true. But you know, I think we can all agree if we put into gold or silver, it's still, like Jerry said, tens of thousands of years. I mean, it's been with us throughout the whole human civilization. Not that you can go wrong with it. You just won't appreciate, and hopefully it keeps up with inflation. And who knows, maybe in the next year or so, it might double in price. People are making some wild predictions. But it is amazing. These massive predictions only happen during like these massive bull runs, right? Everybody gets so natural exuberance. We'll see if it continues. Modern Day says, as a gold miner, it ain't easy to find. Oh, I can agree with that. I don't know the whole ins and outs of gold mining, but I assume it's not easy to find that stuff. Not Joe Fresh says, I'm going to call my dad. Thanks for that perspective. Sounds good. Ashley says, I took profits last year and bought metals. Not too bad. Hey, here's one.
I think Ashley.
This is your. Right. Yeah, she timed it right. This is for you. AI data centers equals industrial mining centers. What do you think about AI data centers? Would you invest into any kind of like that, like land and real estate, and for like so Amazon can buy you up?
As a blanket question, no. Specific things, yes. Because keep in mind, you need electricity to run through those chips, right? So where is it? What is the cost of the electricity? Are you going to develop your own power generation? What will that cost per kilowatt hour? You know, there are a lot of factors. It's not a blanket statement like Bitcoin. I'm going to invest in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the same in California as it is in Sweden, right? It's the same in Costa Rica. Data centers are not the same. A data center here in Costa Rica versus a data center where you are in Puerto Rico versus a data center in Houston, Texas. All three very different things, even though they may have exactly the same computers in them. They may have exactly the same square feet. They may have exactly the same cooling equipment, but they're each a very different investment, all because the cost of the electricity to power them could be dramatically differently priced.
Well, I mean, you can make the same argument as well for like the Bitcoin miners. Let's say they move to like some place where it's like super expensive for electricity. Awful. Then they go to Texas and they get some kind of incentives. They get the incentives like we just had a big cold front hitting Texas and the majority of the United States. I can guarantee the electric company said, hey, we need you to shut down and we'll pay you to shut down because we need that power for all the residentials are going to need it. They probably did it. Not a bad idea. Okay. What else we got? Emma says, amen. Nice. What's happening with Solana? It's probably going to go down because I bought some recently. So that's all I can tell you. Bottoms are incoming. Peter Schiff's having a field day. He is at that. And you know what? I'm not going to talk trash about him. Good for him. But when we flip, everything's a fair game. And I think that's it. And that's it. All right, everybody. That's a good one. So Jerry, thanks for stopping by again. Next weekend, like I said, I'll be at that tokenization event. I'll gather up some things and then we'll see where things are going in the tokenization of real world assets. I'm really excited to talk about land and real estate. If that's a thing, that'd be awesome. Anyhow, Jerry, thanks for stopping by again. Appreciate it. Everybody, see you guys in the next one. Adios.